Hi, it's Jeff.
And Denise from Mousesteps.com.
And this is episode number 178.
178.
Of Mousesteps Weekly.
Sponsored by Theme Park Connection in Orlando, Florida.
All sorts of new stuff this week, including trains.
Trains, like the whole big estate of like trains that are Disney related.
Right, and Thomas Kincaid artwork, things like that. So check them out. Lots of cool stuff. Also, Maple Leaf Tickets, our official ticket agency. The best deals on tickets in town. Be sure to check them out. We're going to start off the show this week at Disney Springs.
And there's the new water tower that we showed last week. 30 tenants were announced that will be coming to Disney Springs, including Sephora, Under Armour, Vera Bradley, a lot of places I've never been to. Also, I don't know if it's actually going to be a World of Coke, even though that was what was rumored. It's going to be a Coca-Cola store is right now what they're calling it.
I believe that's it right there.
Yes, it definitely is it. And there's going to be a polar bear experience. So
we've done the polar bear.
Have done
that was very cool. I think it was at IAPA, and yes. I loved it. I can't wait for that.
Oh, and here is the Planet Hollywood makeover. They were taking down the letters of Planet Hollywood, both on the building and the globe above. They're going to have the Planet Hollywood Observatory. It's supposed to open this summer. We'll see if it actually opens this summer.
Yeah, we need a definition of what summer is.
Well, December. No, I don't know. They're going to have the rare Hollywood and television memorabilia, a 4,000 square foot video wall.
Wow.
Don't know what they're going to put on that. A live DJ each night, and they're also going to have like a patio, a Stargazer's bar outside with live entertainment.
Well, it sure sounds updated. I mean, I think it definitely needed that. I can't wait for it to open. I look forward to that very much.
And right here, we're on the Fultons. Fultons, we probably won't be able to go up here. They're going to actually have like some kind of a rooftop experience.
Yeah,
like
I believe
a bar
they're
or something.
closing it down for a major
right,
rehab.
for a number of months, and later this year. Later this year, they'll be opening that back up. But that's where we were for this. We could see the Blue Springs. And
we get very creative so we can bring you some of this footage. I think the springs look absolutely awesome, though. I can't wait for the walls to fully come down and we can just enjoy this nice view anytime.
And, we're going to go back up in Characters in Flight at some point. They've been kind of grounded for a while because we've...
A lot of wind. Even today, very, very windy.
Right. And also I'm going to mention Alex and Annie, I think that's how you say it, is coming. And Disney is going to have their own burger place called Deluxe Burger. So I hope it's good.
Deluxe burgers.
Yeah, but Disney's
as opposed to the regular Disney burgers, the Deluxe Real Angus, not authentic, 100% authentic.
We went to T-Rex a few weeks ago, and they actually had a really good burger. It's probably a lot of fat, but I mean, I guess that's what makes it so tasty.
Boathouse, we just had a Boathouse burger.
Very good burger.
Although I prefer the slider.
The sliders, the filet sliders over the Boathouse are like my favorite thing on Walt Disney World property.
So, but we're getting off the subject here. We're looking at the beautiful springs.
Well, it's all Disney Springs. We're in the town center area. We're looking over the wall. And this is
There's
a walkway.
The bridge, that's right.
And this area is supposed to open this summer. I don't know exactly when.
That's where the mall will be, though, in the town center, right? The indoor air-conditioned mall.
Yes.
With diamonds and very high-end type merchandise.
Well, a lot of
Thurston Howell and Lovey.
A lot of what I've said is, I've never been in a Sephora store, if that's how you even say it.
Sephora.
It's some kind of makeup shop. So I don't go into
If you have to
malls,
ask, we
really.
can't afford to go in it, probably.
And supposedly there was supposed to be Tommy Bahama. I don't even know what Tommy Bahama is.
Beachwear. Is that not beachwear?
Maybe, but it's not on the list anymore. Like it was on the list like a week or two ago, and it's no longer on the list.
Oh, see the bubbling springs? I mentioned that to you. You hadn't noticed that when we were looking at it the other day.
And then there's going to be a Sprinkles Cupcakes, which is what everybody's looking forward to because Sprinkles Cupcakes aren't that expensive.
Yummy.
And they're going to have a cupcake ATM, which also...
ATM?
Yes, I've never seen.
Can you make a deposit then?
I don't think
as
so.
Well?
But I will say about the ATM, I think that's going to have a very long line. So I hope they have more than one ATM.
Who coined the name ATM? Is it not a vending machine? ATM is automatic teller. That would, you're making deposits in it.
They're still taking your money. So you're depositing money.
But ATM, you get money. Do you not get money from it?
Or you could deposit. So it's like, and I guess it's like
a money machine. You deposit your money and you get your cupcake.
Yes, something like that.
I see. Feed the birds.
Yes, and they also have horses. Like I've seen the top of this fountain, but now you can see the horses. Yeah. I don't know what that symbolizes, but there's birds and horses.
Well, we know what this symbolizes. Zootopia. We loved the film. Everybody loves the film.
I love the film.
And they have this nice display at Disney Springs. I thought it was really cool. We just kind of happened upon it the other day.
Kind of a 3D Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde. On Mousesteps, I put up, I had interviewed Jason Bateman and Jennifer Goodwin and the directors and such. So We have that on Mousesteps
And we will
Plus a
link to
review.
it. Yes, of
we
course.
can. Mm-hmm.
So Judy Hopps there. What is the voice of Judy Hopps?
That's Jennifer Goodwin.
Okay, and that's one of the ones you spoke with.
And she was, because she's very pregnant, she was still in Los Angeles or Burbank. So she was on Skype, but Jason Bateman actually was there. And here we have left Disney Springs.
Boy, we move fast.
But actually it was the other way around because we first did this. Port Orleans
The magic
French
of
Quarter.
editing. Yes. Look at those scissors. Those are some kind of scissors right there.
Yes, those were like the biggest scissors I've ever seen to cut a little ribbon.
They let us hold them. They're very heavy, too.
They are. And so anyway, the Port Orleans French Quarter, this is like the Caribbean Beach Resort has had a kids play area for years. But now Disney's Port Orleans French Quarter does, and it actually looks very nice.
Beautiful.
You know, this is such a great play area, especially it's a smaller resort, but I just think kids are going to love this.
Now, this was very early. It was 9 o'clock in the morning, which to us is very early. And they
you,
obviously
it's very early.
had trouble rounding out a large crowd of kids to be into the play area.
But that's okay. You know, I prefer...
Oh, yeah. It's better. We don't want to show a bunch of...
right. When I take photos and
swimming.
such, right, of pools and everything, I prefer them to be pretty much empty.
So it worked out really well that they had it so early, actually.
Yes. And this is like Mardi Gras themed. You have a couple of slides. You have...
squirter things.
Right. I call them water cannons.
Yes,
they're not
water
much
cannons.
of a cannon, but this is just, I think kids are going to just really, really enjoy this. And it does look good, and alongside the rest of Doubloon Lagoon.
Right, and I like their bucket. That is actually a bucket, but it looks very different than all the other buckets you see.
It looks like a pinwheel.
Right.
And so then it turns, and then you have your bucket
splash.
of water. They should have like adult play areas for for adults.
I know,
like
we do not qualify to even go in there. We could not go in there if we wanted.
It's 48 inches and less.
Well,
so
we could
4
go in
feet.
there. We just can't go onto the slides and into the water.
Well, I wouldn't want. I'd probably break the slide, but like
There's
for the water.
Doubloon
Lagoon. Yes.
Typhoon Lagoon.
No.
I know.
And then you have, I believe his name is Scales, the dragon.
Right.
So you have
I
that
know.
big. I mean, that's a fantastic slide and all that.
But look at how good. I mean, it really, really fits in. I think the Imagineers did a great job of theming this. It looks like it's been there forever. So 2 thumbs up for that.
Yes, it was supposed to open in December, but better late than never.
So now we're moving over to Epcot for the Epcot Flower and Garden Festival. This is opening day, one of our favorite events of the whole year, and we're going to look at the entrance topiary. But first, let's take a look at this monorail that's going by. It is the Zootopia rail.
Yes, it's the Zootopia wrapped monorail. I don't know how long it will be wrapped for, but that is, we've already mentioned, we love the movie.
And I like the little doors for the smaller animals on that monorail too, so very cool. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about the opening entrance topiary, ducks.
Well, Daisy is the first that you'll see when you come in. She is the only character you'll see the moment you come in, and she has the whole paintbrush thing going on, and it's like she's painting the fresh Epcot. Mm-hmm. On the opposite side, you have Donald, and for the first time ever, you have Huey, Dewey, and Louie, and they are there. It's supposed to be inspired by the 1943 comic called The Victory Garden, which I have not seen, I've not read.
Right, neither have I.
I don't know if it's also something you can watch, but here is Huey, Dewey, and Louie again. Debut. I like last year they did Chip and Dale, just some of the older characters and not just the new ones like Frozen, Anna Nelson, Pixar.
Well, it is beautiful. I have to say though, I think it's really more set to look at from the back rather than when you just walk in. You almost get a better sense of this whole thing looking from the rear of it.
Well, usually when they have, I don't want to say just for the Flower and Garden Festival, but also for Christmas, it's almost like when you're leaving, it's like, this is your goodbye.
Little surprise, right?
Right. But now, really, to me, the best part of this is in the back. So I just think that's very interesting. Let's
talk about the scale of the characters.
Well, before the festival, we had been told, before they had been placed, we were told they'd be about my height. They seem a little smaller than that. But, and you can't really tell it here, but they're actually really pretty big because you have Donald, who is very big here.
Okay, so spoiler alert, again, opening day, we had the Eggstravaganza. If you want to skip this part, though, just click the little link on the bottom and you'll just zip past the little preview.
And it's like a hunt, it's an egg hunt. And so for Easter, until Easter, they will be having this around World Showcases for as long as they have the maps and the stickers and the prizes. And here you see Minnie Mouse, she is in Canada. I don't know, was she in Canada last year?
I don't know. It's hard to
I don't
remember.
even remember
This is
everybody.
actually the 4th year. It started with limited time magic, and then they've actually done the Easter Eggstravaganza ever since.
I can't believe it's been 4 years since, limited time magic.
I know.
So that was crazy to me.
Time goes by fast. It was harder, much more difficult than previous years. As you can see, this one way up ahead, I think it's Thumper.
Yes.
It was really hard to see it up there.
Well, we're here in the UK, and certainly we found this hunt much more challenging. Although once we hit Africa, I thought it was much easier. But I know people who had troubles in China, and we didn't really have any. It was like, oh, there it is. But like in the America, it took me like 15 minutes to find the egg, which was a very long time.
Well, it's nice to have these maps too. Going back, I was able to look at them from previous years and see there were the limited time magic. There were less eggs, so it expanded to more countries. They even do the one for Africa, or the what is it called?
The outpost, the African outpost.
Right.
But also, like, Paris has new eggs, and I would love to see them have, a little bit
You're talking about
different designs.
Disneyland Paris.
Yes. Oh, sorry. Disneyland Paris and Tokyo have really cool Easter eggs. There's Figment.
See, we're in Paris. That's where.
Yes.
The
Oh, that's
confusion-
not what I meant. But here you see Figment. But I'd love to see them do kind of more of a unique eggs and not just the same ones they've had the last few years.
And now we're jumping ahead. You can see that we've got them all, and we're going to go and turn it in to get our prize. Did we mention how much this costs, by the way?
I don't think we have. It's about $6, $5.95, and that includes your map, your stickers, and your prize, plus all the fun that you have doing it.
And at least here at Epcot, you can choose the egg you want. This year we took Stitch. We already have...
Disneyland, too, you can choose.
Oh, is that right? Because
Yes.
it used to be at Disneyland, no choose.
Right, they
but
can choose.
Okay.
And
There's Mr. Toad.
He is a holdover from last year.
And we have him from last year, and we have Mickey, I think, from the first year.
And then you have Stitch, and that's who we chose this year.
So a lot of fun. This was also a lot of fun, though. We happened to have a surprise character meet. This is something that it's not listed. You have no idea it's going to happen. We were just walking around opening day getting video and pictures, and lo and behold, look what we found here. So with us being huge fans of the characters, it was wonderful.
Well, it was funny because I'm taking a picture of a topiary, and Jeff's taking video, and all of a sudden I hear something, and I turn around, and I'm like, Jeff, look at that. And there all of a sudden you have all of the characters coming out. It was actually a lot of fun to see them coming out.
And here's the big cheese, Mickey, 0 weight. I mean, we went right to the back because sometimes there are weights when people realize what's going on, because this is not the first time we've stumbled upon this.
No, many times over the years. I mean, not all the time or anything. But then the further back you go, a lot of times the shorter the weight. So that's probably
Initially,
why they put
yes.
right. That's why they put Mickey probably back there.
And Donald, of course, too. And we just saw Donald, well, in topiary form earlier.
Yes. And you can see, like, Mickey's almost a little bit around the corner. We had that with Jack Skellington, I think, once where he was, the guy.
It was fully around the corner with
yes.
Jack.
And cast member was like, oh, yeah, you can come around, So we didn't even know he was there at the time.
But here's Gideon, and in a few minutes we're going to see his pal Foul Fellow. So it was very exciting. I've seen Gideon previously, but I've not seen Foul Fellow, so I look forward to that.
Well, there's 2 locations in Epcot that these usually happen in. One of them is here, I think they call it World Showplace. I still call it Millennium Village. And then also in America, and we had one of those also like a week ago.
Right.
So we were
Next
able
to the American Pavilion.
Yes. So right there, the 2 places, we have actually found characters in the past, 10 days.
Not to mention, princesses are sometimes out at the International Gateway.
Oh, that's
where
right.
we
And
first
we
saw
have-
Merida and Anna and Elsa separately in the past. So there's all kinds of places where you have these surprise characters.
Well, and we've seen Cinderella and Princess Aurora, and Ariel, I believe, in the last, probably last week or so, in the last 10 days.
Right. And here is Baloo, of course, from Jungle Book.
Yes, and there's going to be a Jungle Book movie coming out, and I believe that's in a couple months at this point. It'll be a live action.
And Rafiki was great. We had a lot of fun with him.
Yep, and this is something that you always just kind of want to look towards this pavilion just to make sure that, if you see cast members kind of milling about, maybe they'll open the doors, but maybe they won't. You just don't know.
Well, it's just incredible. In 10 minutes, we ended up getting photos and doing video and having just a good time interacting with, 9 characters?
At least,
if you count Chip and Dale here.
Right, you have Chip and Dale, Mickey, Donald, Foul Fellow, Gideon, just Baloo, a crazy amount of characters. And this is, like you said, I mean, this is always a lot of fun. You know, you get kind of a mixture sometimes of a little bit of a rare characters, and then, you know, Chip and Dale you can see somewhat often in the parks.
And here is one of the Mary Poppins penguins.
Yes, and he was outside, so it was almost like he was inviting people in.
Yeah, he was sort of like, what do you call those?
Greeter.
Greeter. He was, yes, the greeter.
But he was the last one we met.
Right.
That was on our way out.
Well, you know it's sort of ending when they slowly start to close the door, and we always end up inside, and you have to go out the actual door, not the whole wall that they close. So.
Well, we're not usually like the last outboat. Yeah, we're usually there until they
Some
start
of
closing up
the
shop.
last ones. Now I think we're going to jump ahead to Foul Fellow. This was a different
day.
Right.
Yeah, I had mentioned it a couple of times. So Gideon was there one day and Foul Fellow the other. They weren't there at the same time.
I was very excited, though, because I had not seen Foul Fellow in many years since I was a kid, so it was very, very cool.
Gideon, we see it every so often.
Right. So we're going to be jumping ahead. We're going to show this a minute, but there was big character news that just came out this week, and do you remember what that news is?
Joy and Sadness. We already knew Joy and Sadness were supposed to be coming to where Baymax is greeting in the character spot. And but they are supposed to be here in April sometime, but they haven't given a date.
Here they are, Joy and Sadness. We actually got very lucky, and we were able to see them during a Disney Parks blog meet for the Inside Out movie. This was about almost a year ago.
It was in June. We were on our way. We're going to hit a plane, get on a plane
we
a few
actually
hours
went
later.
to this and went right to the airport. So we are so lucky. And boy, what a great experience. And, they have been out in Hong Kong. Mm-hmm. So that's the only place I believe they've had meet and greets, although they're smaller proportions of them have been in the parade at Disneyland.
Right, and we really enjoyed meeting them. So it used to be with the characters that they would show up before the movie, like Anna and Elsa, but all of a sudden, they sometimes like Olaf's supposed to be coming like 3 years later. It takes a while. Olaf's been at Disneyland a lot, though.
There we are. Well, anyway,
from June.
That is very exciting. I can't wait for that. That's going to be right where Baymax is currently now. They've expanded the character spot at Epcot. So big character news for us. Very exciting. Now we're going to look at Illuminated Gardens. This started about 4 years ago.
2013 was the first year that they had the Illuminated topiaries for the Epcot Flower and Garden Festival.
Okay.
So, like one of these Fridays, we're going to stay late. I want to take some pictures with the tripod. But this night, we just kind of took them as the sun was going down.
This was opening day. Even though we had a full day, we were a bit tired. We couldn't resist seeing the Illuminated Gardens.
I think they look better than ever, although right here, Tramp he kind of looked like he had the evil eye with the red.
The colors change. The colors change.
But look at his red eye. Like, he's like, oh,
maybe
he looks
got
evil.
The red eye.
But it was really pretty, with the sunset. And then you had Anna and Elsa, who are over in Norway this year. I think that for photography purposes, like the first couple of years wasn't very good. It was a lot of shadows where it's not perfect, but it's much better.
It's gotten better every year.
Especially like right here, you see Minnie and Pluto, and it was very easy to get, really good pictures of them.
I remember last year I saw a cast member kind of crawling into the bushes in the darkness, and I was thinking, wonder what they're up to. And that they were turning the light on manually for Anna and Elsa. So these lights are not on timers. The timer is a guy going into the bushes and turning the switch on.
You would think, people at their houses have, lights on a timer, so you would wonder about that.
These are much more complicated, apparently.
I guess so.
Remember the first year, they did have them on a timer, and it was, I believe, Phineas and Ferb, and they were right in front of Spaceship Earth, and I was videotaping them, and all of a sudden the timer must have just went off because they just went black right in the middle of...
I remember that. Just dark, very dark.
Right, the lights went out.
And also, I think there's Ranger Mickey, during the EMH time, the extra magic hours, I think sometimes they would turn off early. And Chip and Dale with their sandwich. Right,
and you can see I don't know if you noticed before, but more of the food that we talked about in last week's show. There's the apple core. And then remember the whole story was that Chip and Dale were kind of taking Mickey's lunch, yes. Ranger Mickey's lunch. So Mickey's lunch has been scattered around the bushes a little bit more from last week. And here are the ducks again.
Right, and the opening topiaries look really great too for photos, although you can see that big bright light behind them. So it's not perfect, but... again, I think better than ever as far as the Illuminated Garden.
We will have much more to come for the Epcot International Flower and Garden Festival in the upcoming weeks. This was opening day, of course, and we also did food. We tried a bunch of the different foods. Merchandise and all sorts of stuff. So lots more, but
a little at a time.
Yeah, that's right. We don't want to do we could do every show could be flower and garden. I know how much you love that.
I do love it.
Almost forgot to mention the projections on the way out.
Right, on the ground too. You didn't show those this time, but those were really nice as well. Everything looked fantastic, and we can't wait to get back. We've been back a bunch of times already, but of course, every week.
That's right. Anyway, that's another show.
Thanks
to our sponsors, MapleLeafTickets.com, our official ticket agency.
And Theme Park Connection, our original sponsor.
Have a great week, everybody. We will see you all next week.
Have a great week.